What is up, guys? Tyler here with Secureteam, and as you will no doubt notice, the channel is still here. And I just want to briefly touch on the video that I posted yesterday. I stated that it was time to shut down the channel. Well, first of all, I was being very sarcastic, and secondly, I was echoing a great number of people who have other channels on YouTube, up-and-coming truth seekers, people who are just getting into the research of this phenomena, looking to the stars, wondering what's out there, and who were on the cusp of giving up because they had heard these news stories telling them that there was nothing up there in the stars to be found. And well, if you watch the video, you know my stance on these matters, and I think it's fitting today to start this video with a new report coming out of Canada that serves to only further degrade this flawed notion that we are alone in the universe. So check this out.
The late great astrophysicist Stephen Hawking believed with more than 100 billion stars in our galaxy, the odds are pretty good that aliens exist. And he's not alone. Every day, people across Canada report seeing a UFO. And while most can be identified, as CTV's Janet Dirks reports, some things just can't be explained.
I got it.
Oh my gosh.
Oh.
What the hell?
That strange light in the sky is one of 1,100 UFO sightings in Canada last year. According to the annual survey released by Ufology Research of Manitoba, there are at least 3 such sightings in the country every day.
UFO reports are still a thing. People are reporting them in greater and greater numbers every year.
Montreal is Canada's UFO capital, with 74 sightings reported last year, followed by Toronto, then Vancouver. It's not that these cities are on an extraterrestrial highway. It's a matter of population, says the report's author.
If a tree's falling in the forest, you need somebody to hear it. So if there's a UFO in the sky, the more people around to see it, the more reports you get.
None of the sightings match the drama of the X-Files.
The truth is out there.
But something was out there, according to 10 campers in Quebec who reported a triangular object that hovered and then flew off. One of them drew the scene. In Oshawa, a wildlife photographer captured an odd-shaped disc in the sky. This scientist says people should be critical, but still open-minded.
There's a few that really just get me scratching my head saying, what could it have been?
The survey says of the 1,100 sightings, only 8% are unexplained, and that can be whittled down to 1% of so-called high-quality unknowns.
McGill professor Don Donderi teaches a course in ufology, as the field is known. He knows they're out there and what they can do.
In 3 sentences, some of what people report as UFOs are extraterrestrial vehicles, ETVs. Second sentence, some of those ETVs have extraterrestrial crews, otherwise known as aliens or humanoids. Third sentence, some of those ET crews catch and release humans to study us.
So why are there so many UFO sightings in Montreal?
The data that's published is collected from different cities by different collectors and people with different standards for including data. It might just be a chance fluctuation that this year Montreal had more, last year Toronto had more, 4th year Vancouver had more.
All right, Beatrice, there was no alien. Flash of light you saw in the sky was not a UFO. Swamp gas from a weather balloon was trapped in a thermal pocket and refracted the light from Venus.
Of course, not everyone shares Donderi's certainty. These sightings have extraterrestrials on board.
In fact, none of these cases, shout that aliens are here. But what they do say is that people are reporting things, and maybe science should take a closer look at some of them.
Since the survey began nearly 30 years ago, more than 19,000 Canadians have reported seeing something strange in the sky. That makes them think we're not alone. Janet Dirks, CTV News, Calgary.
Okay, so, in a nutshell, they did a survey in Canada, and it was revealed that Canadians are involved with no less and on average 3 UFO sightings per day, with about 1/3 of all of those cases being boiled down to just typical logical explanations attributed to natural causes here on Earth, but with another chunk of said sightings having a high degree of both reliability and strangeness, and what have been described as, quote, high-quality unknowns. And you heard about some of those sightings discussed in this new video here, and I'll put a link to the website about the story down below. But as it turns out, many of you probably wouldn't think this, Canada is one of the biggest hubs for UFO activity in the world. Now, whether there is a particular reason for this, maybe aliens just like Canada, maybe there's just more people in Canada looking up at the sky, and more people down here in the US looking down at their phones, I don't know. But as I said, I think it's fitting to end my last video with this new report here and survey from just one country on the entire planet and the massive number of mystery sightings that they are encountering on a monthly basis. And I say again, tell me with a straight face that we are alone. The evidence is in our favor. So with that, I want to get on to some strange UFO sightings themselves that have come into the channel. The first one comes out of the city of Lyon, France, where a number of eyewitnesses captured a group of strange lights sitting amongst the horizon.
Ouais, on voit bien, hein. Là, ça clignote pas.
Il y en a une quatrième là-bas qui s'écarte, la troisième elle se barre, elle se trouve.
Ouais, j'ai vu, elle passe derrière l'arbre. Regarde, elle passe derrière l'arbre. C'est quoi ça? Les autres, elles bougent pas. Qu'est-ce que c'est que ça?
Là, il y en a une troisième là qu'on voit.
Ah ouais, elle vient d'arriver. Elle vient d'apparaître. C'est bon, j'ai filmé, bébé. Je suis en train de filmer. Elle a disparu, elle est revenue. Regarde comment ça s'éclaire.
C'est pas des montagnes qu'on voit au fond.
Ah non, même pas. Regarde, celle de droite, elle descend tout doucement, je le vois sur mon téléphone.
Okay, so this was posted to the YouTube channel Sebastian Monette, who said, quote, "This video is very strange. I haven't stopped thinking about it since I filmed it. I was out driving with my wife when we noticed strange lights sitting amongst the horizon. I looked to my wife and said, 'Look, UFOs.' And I soon realized that this was no joke. And the lights sat there in formation for a while, not moving in the sky. So I want to put out the word to anyone in or near Lyon, France. If you have any more info about this or footage, definitely send me an email or put it down below. I'll put the original link down below as well. Now, here we have another video of what some have reported to be a UFO that exploded in front of a group of astonished witnesses. Now, due to some of the language used in the video, for the most part, I'm not going to play the audio, just in case there's children watching, but I will put the link to the original down below. But basically, a group of men in the video are watching what they attribute to a fireball or just something glowing in the sky. It seemed pretty high up at the time. It slowly makes its way through the sky before finally going down behind the tree line here. And that is when you see this massive burst of light come through the trees.
Oh shit. What the f***? It blew up. Get back. Yeah, get back. You don't know what the fuck.
Okay, so this one has really got me scratching my head. And what's even more strange than the UFO itself is just what happens the moment it goes behind those trees with this massive flash of blue light surrounded by sort of reddish-orange light that just bursts through the trees here. It kind of reminds you of a really bright camera flash, and you can see the light actually illuminating everything around it, including this big white building that's behind the trees, completely lit up by light. And well, like I said, I'm truly scratching my head on this one, so if you guys have any ideas of what this is, what it could be, let me know down below. And lastly today, I have a set of images here of what the witness called a disc-shaped UFO that was going in and out of the water over Lake Michigan. And these photographs were submitted to MUFON. I'll put the case link down below, but they said of their interaction, quote, "On the night of March 31st of this year at about 10:20 p.m., was a very clear and calm night with a bright moon. I was driving along the coastline when I noticed a very long, brightly lit ship. I initially thought it was a cargo ship, but the more I watched it, the more erratic the movements and lights became. I decided to park at a local wayside, and I began to see flashes of different patterns of light along its structure. The shape seemed to shift between a long rectangular object to a disc-shaped object. It would sporadically hover above the water and then seem to land down on the water, all while gradually going northeast. And this is where it gets strange. He said it then seemed to be completely aligned with his vehicle, maintaining at a good mile or less distance from me when all the electronics, my vehicle radio, dashboard lights, headlights, cell phone, all turned on by themselves bright and loud. And after about 3 seconds, they all suddenly turned off at once. He says, I took this as a sign to take off and get out of there. After it happened, I sat there for a few minutes trying to calm myself down, and I locked my vehicle doors out of instinct. It was truly an amazing sight to see. And so, yeah, you're seeing the photographs of this object here. Again, it was at a great distance, but you can definitely make out, something here. What look like lights, possibly portholes. And it reminds me of this photo that I've featured a couple times, taken from an airplane flying over the ocean, of what were described as thousands of mysterious glowing lights coming up from underneath the water. And it goes once again back to the fact that our oceans and even our lakes and rivers are an alien world of their own. Lights being seen down in the water, things coming in and out of the waves, and so I will let you guys judge what you think was seen over Lake Michigan. It's not the first time I've heard about strange and mysterious things happening over this particular lake, so if you have your own story, put it down below. And with that, I am going to jump off here and get back to work. Thank you guys again for stopping by and following this channel and this research. I truly love it, and I appreciate all of you, so stay tuned, and we will be back with much more in just a bit. Stay safe, guys.